It's supposedly Tupac in 2012. He's reportedly living in Sweden and has schizophrenia.
For almost 3 decades, the legend of Tupac Shakur has refused to rest in peace. Every few years, new proof surfaces that the hip-hop icon never actually died in that Las Vegas shooting back in 1996. And now, with the internet fueling every whisper, the claim that Tupac is alive has become more than a myth. It's a movement. What makes this story so wild is how much visual evidence keeps appearing. From grainy street footage to alleged paparazzi clips, fans have pointed to at least 10 separate moments where Tupac was supposedly caught on camera after his death.
Night Sun is bringing this one back to life. Tupac Shakur didn't actually die in '96 and is still alive and well. Suge Jr. has been posting images of Tupac posing with celebs, saying that the rapper lives in Malaysia now and the Illuminati knows all of.
These aren't just fan theories. These are full-blown viral events that had social media, media outlets, and even investigators talking. The earliest of these sightings came in the late 1990s when a mysterious video surfaced showing someone who looked exactly like Tupac walking into a convenience store in New Orleans. The man wore a red bandana tied the same way Pac always did, and his mannerisms were eerily familiar. This was before deepfakes or AI edits, meaning people couldn't dismiss it as a digital trick. News outlets at the time even covered the clip, asking if the rapper had faked his own death to escape his violent lifestyle. The FBI had allegedly looked into it briefly before dismissing it as coincidence, but fans weren't convinced. They swore his walk, posture, and even his voice caught faintly in the background were too identical to ignore. Then came the Cuba footage, the holy grail of Tupac sightings. Around 2002, blurry handheld videos surfaced online showing a man with Tupac's signature shaved head and tattoos lounging in a small bar in Havana. He was seen laughing, drinking with locals, and wearing a white tank top. What made it even crazier was that the clip's background music was a Spanish-language remix of Changes, one of Tupac's posthumous hits. The internet went insane. Conspiracy theorists claimed Pac had fled to Cuba with the help of political allies who protected him from American authorities. Suge Knight's own comments years later only fueled the flames when he said, "You never seen no funeral, right? No body, no nothing." That statement became the unofficial slogan of the Tupac is Alive movement. But the evidence didn't stop there. In 2004, new footage allegedly filmed in Johannesburg, South Africa went viral. It showed a man who looked identical to Pac, complete with the same mustache, nose ring, and swagger. The cameraman supposedly followed him for a few seconds before the man turned, noticed the lens, and walked off.
Guys, so these are the pictures TMZ says they took of Pac back in 2009 when they said he was at a bar in New Orleans.
The reaction online was explosive. Message boards and forums flooded with breakdowns comparing tattoos, facial structure, and even the length of his sideburns to Pac's. Some claimed the figure had slightly aged, which actually made it more believable, suggesting he'd been living quietly under a new identity for nearly a decade. From there, the myth took on a life of its own. Every blurry video or street clip showing a bald man with a bandana or nose ring instantly triggered Tupac sighting trends. By the 2010s, there were enough supposed recordings to make an entire documentary, and fans began noticing that some clips looked too convincing to be random lookalikes. From gas stations in Mexico to nightclubs in Los Angeles, people kept claiming they'd spotted the man the world buried in 1996. Whether it was real footage or mass hysteria, one thing was undeniable. Tupac's spirit, or at least his image, never left the streets. As technology advanced, the Tupac sightings started looking less like blurry coincidences and more like real evidence, at least to those who believed. One of the most infamous videos dropped in 2012 showing a man sitting in the passenger seat of a car, wearing a white hoodie and gold chains. The uploader claimed it was taken in Las Vegas, the same city where Pac was supposedly killed. What made this clip eerie was the uncanny resemblance. The same cheek structure, the same smirk, even a faint outline of the Machiavelli tattoo. Fans immediately froze frames, zoomed in, and enhanced the image. Forums exploded. "That's not a lookalike," one fan wrote. "That's him, older, heavier, but alive." The clip's authenticity was debated for months. Some argued it was part of a viral marketing campaign for a new Tupac documentary, while others swore it had nothing to do with any official project. In a wild twist, a few independent journalists tracked down the supposed cameraman, who refused to comment, only adding to the mystery. Around the same time, another photo surfaced showing a man believed to be Pac taking selfies in a small studio somewhere in Mexico. The tattoos matched, the jawline matched, and even his style, simple white tee, gold chain, and black bandana, was identical. The caption under the post read, "He never left, y'all just stopped looking." It didn't take long for millions of people to start looking again. By 2014, Tupac sightings had become a pop culture phenomenon. Every year, at least one new image or clip would surface, and social media would explode with theories. Some were clearly doctored, but others seemed almost too realistic. One particular moment caused complete chaos. A festival performance in Sweden where concertgoers swore they saw Tupac in the VIP section, surrounded by bodyguards. Cell phone footage showed a man with a shaved head, tattoos in the right spots, and a striking resemblance, watching the stage with a hood up. The video quality was shaky, but it didn't matter. The internet decided, Pac is in Sweden. That same year, Suge Knight fueled the rumor once again during an interview where he repeated, "Tupac's not dead. He's somewhere smiling, trust me." Coming from the one man who was in the car the night Pac was shot, that quote was gasoline on the fire. It reignited every conspiracy theory that Pac had staged his own death, referencing his Machiavelli album, which was full of cryptic lyrics about resurrection and escaping enemies. Lines like, "I'm back from the dead, I'm alive," were suddenly reinterpreted as confession, not creativity.
When they say, what are they chanting? They're chanting, "Let's go Tupac," because Tupac was apparently at the game.
The deeper fans looked, the more convinced they became that every posthumous release was a breadcrumb trail. Then in 2016, a supposed hotel security cam leak hit the dark corners of the internet. It showed a man who looked exactly like Tupac walking through a lobby late at night wearing a hoodie and talking on his phone. The clip timestamp read March 18th, 2016. Fans went wild because the man's voice, faintly caught on the mic, matched Tupac's tone and cadence almost perfectly. Within hours, the video had millions of views before being mysteriously deleted from multiple platforms. Some called it a hoax. Others said it was the smoking gun. To this day, no one's claimed responsibility for the upload or explained why it vanished. At this point, what started as fan speculation was now something bigger, a global obsession. Tupac's resurrection wasn't just an internet theory, it had become a cultural myth, blending street folklore with digital detective work. Every sighting, every blurry image, every grainy frame kept the world asking the same question. If Tupac really died that night in Vegas, why does he keep showing up? By 2018, even mainstream outlets couldn't ignore it anymore. Major news sites began revisiting the Tupac mystery as more supposed footage came out. One of the most viral moments that year came from a TMZ report claiming a man seen in a car in Belize looked shockingly similar to Tupac. The resemblance was uncanny. The same goatee, same nose ring, same diamond earrings, and that same piercing stare. He even wore a leather vest that looked straight out of a 1990s death row photo shoot. Fans flooded the comments section with comparisons, and once again, old theories resurfaced. Tupac escaped through connections, changed his identity, and chose peace over fame. Some believers tied this theory to the Machiavelli Code, the concept that Pac predicted his own death and rebirth through hidden messages in his lyrics and videos. They pointed out how his final album cover showed him hanging on a cross like a martyr, and how he often rapped about being buried but breathing. Combine that with the name Machiavelli, taken from Machiavelli, the philosopher who wrote about faking death to defeat enemies, and the pieces seemed to fit perfectly. In their eyes, every new clip was another sign that Tupac had mastered the ultimate escape plan. But the most shocking footage came from a random nightclub in 2019. A fan's Instagram story showed a man dancing near the bar wearing a black hoodie, jeans, and a familiar pair of gold-rimmed glasses. The user posted it with the caption, "No way I just saw Tupac in South Africa." The short clip gained over 5 million views overnight. Comment sections went wild. Even celebrities jumped in, with one well-known rapper tweeting, "If that's not Pac, it's his ghost enjoying the night." The man in the video never came forward, and the original post mysteriously disappeared days later, but not before internet detectives downloaded every frame. The coincidences kept stacking up. One video from 2020 showed someone matching Pac's profile walking through a crowd at a reggae festival in Jamaica. Another, posted in 2021, captured a man freestyling in Cuba with a voice so similar to Tupac's that even audio experts debated its authenticity. Analysts compared vocal frequencies and patterns, finding eerie similarities to the late rapper's known recordings. The internet dubbed him Pac from Havana. What was once brushed off as wishful thinking was now backed by tech enthusiasts using real analysis tools to prove the impossible. And then came the 2023 viral clip, the one that reignited the myth for an entirely new generation. The footage showed a man with Tupac's exact tattoos, sitting in the back of a car, casually talking about being done with fame. The clip looked new, clean, high resolution, and too detailed to dismiss as an old video. Some said it was AI generated, but others insisted it was authentic, pointing to shadows, reflections, and natural movement that would be nearly impossible to fake. Within 24 hours, it had millions of views, and the caption read, "He told y'all he was done with this life." That single upload breathed new life into the decades-old debate. Even skeptics admitted it was one of the most convincing pieces of footage ever tied to the Tupac mystery. Whether staged or real, it achieved one undeniable effect. It made the world stop and wonder again if the legend who defined an era had somehow found a way to live beyond death itself. Every generation seems to rediscover the Tupac mystery, and with each cycle, the sightings grow more elaborate. What once started as street rumors has now become a full-blown digital treasure hunt. On TikTok, entire communities are dedicated to tracking modern Pac appearances. They compile sightings, compare tattoos, and even map potential escape routes from Las Vegas to the Caribbean. One popular theory claims Tupac left clues in his unreleased songs and interviews, references to islands, rebirth, and living free that point to a planned disappearance. Whether those lyrics were prophetic or coincidental, they've fueled countless debates about whether Pac simply outsmarted death itself. It's not hard to see why the theory persists. Tupac wasn't just a rapper, he was a revolutionary mind who often spoke about faking death as a metaphor for transformation. In one interview, he famously said, "I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee I will spark the brain that will change the world." That line alone has taken on mythical weight. To his fans, Tupac wasn't just a musician, he was a symbol, a spirit that could never die. So when new footage appears showing someone who moves like him, talks like him, and even feels like him, people don't see coincidence, they see resurrection. One of the more recent viral theories suggests that Tupac has been subtly revealing himself through controlled leaks, testing how the world reacts each time. These drops, as fans call them, allegedly come from hidden sources close to his old circle. Whenever a video surfaces, there's always a strange coincidence, an anniversary date, a lyric reference, or a location connected to Pac's history. For example, the 2023 car video was posted almost exactly 27 years after his supposed death, the same number tied to several numerological conspiracies surrounding famous artists. Skeptics, of course, continue to dismiss all of it as manufactured internet chaos. They argue that technology, especially AI and deepfake programs, makes it easier than ever to fabricate realistic images and videos. And yet, believers point out that Tupac's sightings existed long before AI was even possible. The idea that a man with his global fame could stage his own death and live under the radar sounds far-fetched, but not impossible, especially for someone as intelligent, resourceful, and connected as Shakur. The myth itself has become part of hip-hop's DNA. Artists from Kendrick Lamar to J. Cole have referenced Tupac's lingering presence, with lines that blur the line between tribute and belief. "Tupac lives through me," Kendrick once said in an interview, and to many fans, that wasn't just metaphorical. Every new artist who carries Pac's energy, message, or rebellion adds to the belief that maybe the legend didn't die at all, he simply multiplied. In the end, the truth about these 10 sightings might never be proven. But that's exactly what keeps the legend alive. Whether these videos are real, faked, or misinterpreted doesn't matter as much as what they represent. They show how deeply Tupac's energy still grips the world. Decades after his death, he remains one of the most talked about figures in music, politics, and culture. People want him to be alive because in many ways he symbolizes everything the world feels it lost: raw honesty, rebellion, and revolutionary spirit. Every supposed sighting from Cuba to South Africa becomes less about physical evidence and more about emotional connection. The idea of Tupac living free, away from the chaos that consumed him, feels poetic, like the ending he deserved but never got. Fans say that even if these videos aren't real, the message behind them is. Tupac's influence refuses to fade. His presence still challenges corruption, exposes hypocrisy, and speaks truth in a world full of filters. Maybe that's why every time someone spots a man who looks like him, the reaction isn't just curiosity, it's hope. The myth has even become self-sustaining. New generations who weren't even born when Tupac died are discovering him through these viral clips and online conspiracies. They're analyzing his lyrics, studying his interviews, and rediscovering his philosophy of thug life, not as violence, but as resistance. These so-called posthumous appearances are keeping that energy alive. It's like Tupac never needed to exist physically to still spark the movement he promised. Every time his image resurfaces, his message becomes relevant again, in a new context, for a new world. At this point, the Tupac sightings aren't just about proving he's alive. They're about proving he never really died. His music, his message, and his myth have outlasted his enemies, his era, and even technology's ability to fake it. Whether he's somewhere in Cuba, living quietly under another name, or whether it's all part of a cultural illusion, the impact remains the same. Tupac Shakur's ghost runs the internet, the streets, and the hearts of millions. Maybe that's the real point of all this. The footage might be wild, the claims might sound impossible, but Tupac was never about playing by the rules of possibility. He lived larger than life, and in death, or beyond it, he's done the same. The world might never get closure, but it doesn't need to. Because every clip, every rumor, every grainy glimpse of a man who walks like him reminds the culture of something bigger. Legends don't die, they just change form. And that's the full breakdown of the 10 wildest times Tupac Shakur was allegedly spotted alive after his death. Moments that blurred the line between myth and memory and proved that even in the digital age, the spirit of a true icon can never be erased.